Have you ever experienced such bad back pain that you couldn't really sleep at night or you couldn't stay in one position most of the night or anything? Is that you? I mean, I can raise my hand. Is me. That was me 3.5 years ago. Let me explain my story a little bit. Um, yes, I was pretty overweight, no doubt about it. And I had lots of different health issues. One of the problems that I was probably experiencing it for at least a few months, I would say, is that I had really bad lower back pain and pain in my hips to where I couldn't sleep at night. So what would happen? I'd go to bed. I'd start on my back for a few minutes. That wouldn't last very long. So I'd switch over to my side. I'd wake up maybe, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes in. I'd have to roll over to my other side because I was in so much pain between the hip and my lower back. I get to the other side, half hour, 45 minutes again, and I'd be needing to roll over again. I do this a little bit, right? So it's now a couple hours in. Maybe I'd wake up and I was in so much pain that I was like, okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to walk to the bathroom. I go sit up from the bed and you kind of, you go to stand up all the way and you just like, oh my gosh, the back, like the lower back, just so much pain, right? I kind of walk to the bathroom, hunched over, go to the bathroom, come back to the bed, try and lay down. Maybe I'd make it another half hour or so. And then it was just the point, I can't lay on my back. I can't lay on my sides. Stomach doesn't really work laying on my stomach. I'd just be done. It'd be a couple hours in and maybe 2, 3 hours at the most. And I'd be done laying in bed. I couldn't do it anymore the rest of the night. So I'd go downstairs. Our bedroom's on the second floor. So I go downstairs. We had a recliner in our family room. I'd sit in that, put my feet up a little bit. The recliner was a little bit better. I wasn't laying flat, that type of thing. And I'd kind of sleep in that the rest of the night as best as I could, waking up a little bit and so forth. And that was me. That was what I was doing. Like every night for at least a few months, that was happening to me. This was part of my whole feeling like I had hit rock bottom, right? And that I needed to do something about my health, about my weight, and so forth. And so I went to the carnivore diet July of 2022. And I lost probably about 60 pounds or so in the first 3 months. But here's the key. Within a couple of weeks, I was sleeping the entire night in bed without issues. At first, maybe the first week or so, I was sleeping in night all night, but I still had a little bit of back pain, that type of thing. But it only took about 2 weeks to get to that point to where I could sleep all night, even with a little bit of back pain. And then another week or two, there wasn't even any more back pain anymore. No hip pain, any of that stuff. Sleeping soundly throughout the night. All it took was just a couple of weeks of not eating all that sugar, the highly processed foods and so forth, getting rid of some of the inflammation in my body. That's all it took. I never have any back problems anymore. Back in the day before carnivore, I used to ask my wife for back rubs all the time. Like my back was sore and so forth. I don't have that problem at all. She'll ask me for a back rub sometimes. And then, she'll be like, I can give you a back rub too if you want. I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't really have a need for it, but yes, that would be great to have a back rub, right? And there's been times where she has said, like, how sometimes like you get it right in this one spot, like it just really hurts really hard. And I have to think back to before carnivore, because since I've been on carnivore, I don't have that happen. Like, I'm like, no, I don't experience that issue anymore. That just doesn't happen. That all was because of inflammation before. And that's what carnivore does, is it gets rid of that inflammation. You're not eating the bad stuff that causes inflammation. That's the first piece of it, right? But also, there's a lot of healing that happens when you're getting the right amount of fat for your body. getting the right amount of protein, and so forth. And also just eating probably like you should, once or twice a day for the most part is what I do. Sometimes now, at least back then, I was still eating every day, but now there are days that I'll do a 48, or there are weeks that I'll do a 48 or a 72-hour fast even in there. Back then, when I got rid of all that back pain, I still was eating every day. So, and it was probably pretty much 2 times a day still at that point, which is what I was doing before that was 2 times. I pretty much never was eating breakfast before that for several years. So there was a lot of snacking though, 2 meals and then a lot of snacking, which snacking doesn't happen anymore. But anyway, those are the type of experiences that people see with the carnivore diet. That's the experience I had. I'm interested in hearing what type of experiences you've had like that, where just you had some sort of really bad pain, whether it was back pain or something else, knee pain, whatever it might have been, that just was ongoing for you. You couldn't seem to get rid of it. And then you went to carnivore and fairly quickly it improved, at least, if not got better all the way. Or maybe did you have experiences where it took a while? Maybe it didn't happen right away in the first couple of weeks or the first month. Maybe it took you 6 months or longer. Either way, I'd like to hear. So drop me a note in the comments down below about your own experiences. And let's just kind of share our experiences, what we've seen and what we've improved that way with the carnivore diet.